Hello everyone. Today I thought of talking to you all about root chakra or the Muladhara chakra. Actually, this is the foundation of all chakras, and that is the first chakra. And this chakra is associated with the color red. And at the same time, the element of this chakra is earth. So, what governs by this chakra? Safety, structure, being grounded, and stability, prosperity, survival, and all these are being governed by this chakra. So it's about the survival chakra, you know. So the most important thing, why does this chakra gets blocked? What do you think? Fear. If someone is not grounded, like especially a person who is living in the fantasies, living in the mind, and living in the air, are mostly feeling anxious. The reason is they are not grounded in the earth, they are not grounded in the reality. So, the biggest factor, the biggest reason why this chakra gets blocked is through fear. Chakra blockage is like having an unsafe environment as a child. Like if you take, like let's say someone is growing up in a war zone, even in Sri Lanka, like we used to have war for until 2008. So so it was like very unsafe environment to be in the country. So this creates like really blockage in this first chakra. And then the second cause for blockage is poor mother bonding. If the person didn't have a proper bonding with the mother, like, and that also creates a blockage in the first chakra. And then the next reason, next biggest cause for the blockage in this chakra is as a child, if you felt unwanted or neglected, your emotions were neglected, you are as a person was neglected as a child, and that would really impact the first chakra. So these are the reasons that why this chakra can get blocked. So if someone feeling quite anxious and fearful generally, then this is the chakra that you need to work on. You can look at like how this chakra can get imbalanced. Like as I have talked about even previously, like chakra can be in a normal size or it can be excessive or it can be shrinked. So when the first chakra becomes excessive, the imbalance would look like that the person is overly attached to the material possessions. They are quite like let's say they are very identified with their house or the vehicle or the material possessions of them. Not only the material possessions, also about the people around them. They are very quite identified with like let's say overly identified with the material. The thing is when this chakra becomes excessive, the person wants to constantly like eat. They want to eat a lot in order for them to feel secure and safe. That's how they make themselves feel safe. Like like there are women whom I've seen, like if you take binge eating, why they constantly go on eating is they want to feel secure and safe. And that's the way that like they try to become grounded. But that's a very if you take not so healthy way in order for you to make yourself feel safe. And if the chakra becomes deficient, then what happens is the person becomes very fearful, and at the same time they are struggling with financial, and the person is quite ungrounded, and they have trust issues, like they can't trust themselves or the world. So these are the excessive and the deficient chakras. And what happens when the person has a balance chakra, balanced root chakra? The person trusts themselves. At the same time, they trust the world. And they are more grounded and they feel stable. So these are the characteristics. And at the same time, more confident. And they are more free to be who they are like. So this is what a balanced chakra would look like, balanced root chakra would look like. And like when someone wants to deal with this chakra, how you can heal this chakra is by facing your fears. I remember one time I was working with one of the clients and she had a phobia around tree roots. So she had a very much fear around these roots. So I remember I worked with her phobia and she completely released that phobia. And at last, like she just touched roots. And at the end, she sent me a picture where she was standing in a big root in a tree. So this it's very important that you deal with your own fears in order to heal this chakra. It's about facing your own fears, so it would be very challenging, but that is the way to go. And at the same time, it's about coming up and getting grounded. And only way like how you can get relaxed is coming down to the earth, so that is how you can be grounded. And this chakra, if you take the element itself, is the earth. So how you can get rooted, because this is the first chakra, which the foundational chakra, how can you get rooted in the earth? And people who live more in the air are very anxious because they live in the mind mostly. So you need to bring back that energy into the body and bring down that energy, so that's how you can get rooted in and feel safe. The most important word is grounded. Are you grounded? So, and if someone is constantly fearing and worrying about their survival needs, definitely this is the chakra that you need to look towards and look and work on. And because this is the fear and being anxious is what creates the imbalance. So mostly I would like to tell like how you can bring that back energy which is in the mind to the ground, to your body. And doing especially like walking, how you can heal this chakra is one thing. You can start facing your fears. Like let's say you have a fear around like for that client that I say root. She had a fear around roots. And I remember when she's releasing that fear, she also released a lot of energy, because this fear is like that it gets a lot of energy stuck in your system. So that's why it's very important. Like this energy can be your potential to create your own life. Like this is your own energy which is stuck and freeze, and you need to release that stuckness within you. And I remember when she's releasing a lot of energy released and her breathing changed. And so this is how first thing you can do is start facing your fears. You don't need to go and start facing a huge fear. Like you can start small scale. And I remember like first when I worked with her around this food chakra phobia, and at the time that when I worked with her around phobias, like I haven't even worked before around phobia. So first I got very, very small way in order for her to get into this root fear. So first I showed her pictures around roots, and that's how we go about like you don't need to go and just face a huge fear. You can just start very small. And like let's say someone has a fear around darkness. You can start facing these fears. And then the second thing what you can do is like you can just walk barefoot in the nature. So this gets you rooted, like this is very, very grounding exercise that you can do. Walking in the nature and connected and going out with walks in the nature would really help your first chakra. And like, so these are the things, like especially facing your fears are the most important thing. And then the second thing is what you can do is like body-based work, like either yoga or some exercises or like massage. So these things also can make you more grounded because it's more connected with your body. And so you can do these activities in order to heal this chakra. Actually, there are more things to talk about it. I don't have much time in order to go on talking. So like what I can share with you is like start facing your fears little by little. It might be challenging in the beginning, but that is the way to go. You know, like even if someone is someone who's very anxious, they can do the same. You know, they can start exposing themselves into these fears and be with that fears so that they know like their reaction would be for these fears to run away. Now they can do a different response by being with that fear, by facing that fear. So by doing that, you can like release this energy, fear energy from your system and get back that frees up energy for your potential. So it's very important because getting grounded is the most important thing, and that's your foundation. That's your first chakra. So if someone is constantly worrying about their survival needs, definitely you got to work on your first chakra. Thank you.